Michelle Rumschlag, Naturalist, and thanks for joining us for virtual experiences with the Hancock Park District. It's Friday, so we're hitting the trails. Today you're joining me at Litzenberg Memorial Woods, and if you've been following us for the past couple of months, we visited here early April to look at the spring wildflowers that were out. So those have gone away, and if you kind of look, a lot more green is out in the woods. The leaves have come out. We have different plants growing. So I always encourage you, if you were out earlier in the season when everything was kind of shut down and you were walking, keep continuing to do that, because the woods and nature is always changing by season and even throughout the season. So I wanted to point out a few things that are blooming today and kind of just what's happening out here at Litzenberg. So we are just past the activity barn, kind of hitting the trail. And at the bottom of the dike here, we have some northern blue flag iris. It's a native iris that just naturally grows. And it likes wet areas, which it's not right now, but we do have a lot of water that kind of puddles in this area. And we were seeing some butterflies just before we started talking. So there was a tiger swallowtail down there. There was a smaller brown one, maybe a skipper. And bees will also visit it too. So if you can see, there's a whole patch of it around here. So kind of check that out if you're here on the trails. The main thing I wanted to talk about, if you're seeing it kind of around me, is all this cotton fluff that's kind of everywhere. Well, it's coming from an eastern cottonwood tree, and we have a lot of them that kind of line, you can see it right at the top there. There's a lot of them that are lining the path right here, and they're really found throughout all of our parks. So here's a close-up of one of its leaves. We had some branches fall down from the storm the other day. So it has a triangle-shaped leaf. It's a type of poplar, but they're found within the willow family. So they do like it where it's wet. So that's very common of what their leaf looks like. And then I also happen to find one that has changed colors. So this is the color they're going to look like here in the fall in the next couple of months. So what's all this fluff about? Well, they are done pollinating. A lot of people think that this is happening when pollination is. So it's afterwards. So if you're having allergies from the tree pollen, at least this one is done for the time being. And I did find a group of where the seeds were. So it's using that fluff or that cotton for seed dispersal. All plants have to do this, and a lot of them use the wind. So think of dandelions or milkweed. They have that little fluff and a seed attached, and they're using the wind to go somewhere else. A parent tree doesn't want to drop all of its seed right below it. It would outcompete the young for nutrients, water, soil, even sunlight. So they want other cottonwood trees to grow, but in another area. So the seeds are attached to that fluff. I don't think, there might be a few of the seeds in here, but this is just one of them. And you can see all that fluff right there. Or the stuff that's flying around. Now you might be thinking, well, I have fluff in my yard, but I don't have any of these cottonwood trees in my backyard. The fluff can travel for up to 5 miles. So again, if it's just a little piece and the wind happens to take it, that's where that's how it's getting to you. They only last for about 2 weeks, and the fluff's been around for a while. So hopefully it's done flying. Once it's on the ground, you still might have some transfers that way, but that's where the fluff is coming from. Don't want to burn it. It's highly flammable. So, just gather it up, maybe put it in your compost pile or get rid of it that way. But just, again, if you're burning it, just beware that it is flammable. One neat fact about the cottonwood tree is that cowboys would take the inner bark, boil it in water, and make an astringent tea out of it. And they use that for gastric distress or disorders that they had. I don't know if I would try that at home, but that's what the cowboys did back in the day. Another a flower that we're seeing, and some of these, you might go like, oh, I have that thing in my yard, and it's, you think it's scrubby, but these are called Fleabanes. And there are 170 species found in North America, and they're part of the daisy family. I believe this one is the daisy fleabane. We also have what's called a common fleabane. Those are the ones that can be pink in color. But again, kind of just growing everywhere, meadows, sides of the road, kind of disturbed soil, and kind of grow everywhere. So that's what those are. Those are Fleabanes. There's another one down here on the path. I'm hearing a red-eyed vireo just above my head. He's singing a little bit up there. So we still have a lot of birds that are in the parks. Migration, a lot of them have already moved through, but those that are residents or nesting are the ones you're going to be finding here. This one is called the common yellow wood sorrel. So it's this yellow flower down here. And the leaf's one of those that's, I think is pretty distinctive. So it's heart-shaped, which is a characteristic of the wood sorrels. And that's the family that it's in. It's a wood sorrel family. And they're also called, like a false clover, which you can see where they get that from. So they're low to the ground here. Flowers, that's full size, just not very big and showy. I was reading that most of the parts are edible, but don't take my word for it. Anytime you want to harvest and eat anything that's in the wild, I would go to books, ones on wild edibles. The internet, I guess it's a site you really trust. There's a lot of information that's out there. So consult that before cooking these on your own. They create an orange dye from the plant. So that would have been something that the pioneers would have used for dyeing their clothes. And then also the leaves would have been crushed up, put together with a bandage, and would have been used as a poultice to help reduce swelling. So I encourage you to come out into the parks, check out all the flowers and things that are out and blooming. Join us on Monday as we have our Discover Stories at 1 o'clock, and thanks for joining us.